What's up, guys? Matt here. Gonna talk to you today about my top 10 movies of 2018. We do it every year. I was able to see a few movies and make a top 10 list, although I will say this year has been a little lackluster. But anyway, I was able to get 10 movies. We're gonna go through them pretty quick. I might talk about each one a little bit. So without further ado, let's get started into my top 10 movies of 2018. Number 10 is You Were Never Really Here. This movie I watched a little bit earlier on in the year. Thought it was a solid flick. Joaquin Phoenix, I'll see anything he's in. Even that new Joker movie, I'll probably will watch it, even though I'm not interested in it. But I love Joaquin Phoenix. He's one of my favorite actors. And he does a really good job in this movie. It's a subdued role, and he's kind of explosive from time to time. A little less violence than I thought it was going to be. I was kind of hoping for more, but regardless, a little bit of a slow burn too. But great acting, great cinematography. Fantastic movie. If you haven't watched it, check it out. And yeah, let me know what you think. Number 9 is Annihilation, another movie that I saw earlier on in the year, and I really enjoyed this movie. This is Alex Garland's second movie, I think, or the one he did after Ex Machina. And another really solid movie. I liked Ex Machina a little bit more, but I would have to say that this was solid. Natalie Portman did a great job. Actually, the whole cast, the all-female cast, for the most part, did a really good job. There was enough suspense and sci-fi in it that really captured my kind of attention. I'm not really huge on the sci-fi genre, but this movie kept my attention. I liked the symbolism that it had in it, and the ending, the weird third act, really, I don't know, I liked it. A lot of people don't like it, but I really enjoyed it, so it made my number 9. For my number 8 pick, we are talking about Blind Spotting. This one I just saw recently, and man, this was a fun movie. Well, actually, I don't even know if you would classify it as fun, but really powerful message with a lot of comedy kind of intertwined in this drama. Kind of gave me like Friday vibes a little bit to it, but it's got a lot of heart, solid acting from the two main actors. But yeah, I just really enjoyed this film. I thought it was kind of like a sleeper. I don't think a lot of people talked about it too much. And I hope to see more from the two main guys. That they end up doing more. Even a sequel would be kind of cool too. But anyway, yeah, that is Blind Spotting. Next one up on my list is Hold the Dark. This is Jeremy Saulnier. Saulnier? Is that how I pronounced it? I liked Blue Ruin. I really liked Green Room. So I was excited to check this one out. And I really liked it. I kind of had to, first time after I watched it, I was kind of like, okay, I don't know necessarily what I watched. But I did a little research, rewatched it again, and I really liked it. A lot of people, I don't think, got this movie, or if they did, maybe they weren't interested in the subject matter, or they thought it was a little boring. I thought it was great. There is a really good second to third act scene, I won't spoil it, scene that was just really intense. But yeah, if you're into Jeremy Saulnier, check it out. I mean, it's very similar to his other movies. It's a little slower, but definitely worth the watch. All right, so for my number 6 pick, we are talking about Wildlife. This was Paul Dano's directorial debut, starring Jake Gyllenhaal and Carey Mulligan. And I don't know the kid's name, but the kid. I really liked this movie. It was not what I was expecting, to be honest with you. I thought it was going to be a little bit more drama from Jake Gyllenhaal and Carey Mulligan. I thought they were more of like a divorced parent thing, and that's not really what it was about. But regardless, I loved it. I thought it was a really solid film, solid directorial debut from Paul Dano. The imagery and I mean, I think it's based on the book, obviously, but the fact that it's in Montana kind of has this dreary, but yeah, beautiful like landscape. And I don't know, I really liked it. I wasn't bored by it, and it was a unique film, definitely. I want to rewatch it though. Again, I might actually give it a higher score the second time around. But yeah, that's Wildlife. So my number 5 pick is First Reformed. This was Paul Schrader's movie, the one he directed. This is the writer of Taxi Driver, starring Ethan Hawke, who, just like Joaquin Phoenix, I will watch anything Ethan Hawke is in. And this is one of his best roles that he's done in a while. I really, really enjoyed this movie. This was the first movie I watched this year that I was like, yeah, that's definitely going to make it my top 10. So I don't know, man. This movie's so I find it polarizing too. A lot of people I've talked to about it, they didn't get it. The ending is super polarizing, so I think you're either gonna get it or not. And then there's a part, I want to say, three-quarters of the way in, that's a little surreal, I'll say, and so it kind of might put you off if you're not used to it. But no, I thought this was a fantastic movie. There's some political stuff involved that I thought they did it really tastefully, and solid acting jobs from everybody in the movie. And it kind of just has, there's a couple parts in it towards the beginning. The acting is just great. Ethan Hawke has this one scene where he's talking to this guy. He's listening to this guy's story, and it's just, I don't know. I was really taken in by it. So, fantastic film. If you haven't seen it, check it out. That's First Reformed. So for my number 4 pick, we're talking about the documentary "Won't You Be My Neighbor?" This is the Mr. Rogers doc. Really, really enjoyed this movie. I kind of knew I was gonna like it. I grew up on Mr. Rogers, researched actually a lot of him before this documentary came out. So I will say some of the stuff I had already known about, some of the stuff I have seen, but there's a lot of things that I didn't. And just a really solid, well portrayed documentary of the man, the legend. Yeah, I mean, nothing more than that. It's a solid doc. If you don't really know about him, it's a great one to watch. If you loved him from watching, Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, it's definitely worth checking out. I will say I wish there was a little bit more on some of the other characters or cast in the film. Maybe they couldn't get them. I don't know. But yeah, it was a really, really good film, really heartfelt film. That if you're looking just to smile, give it a watch. All right, guys, we're down to my top 3. Number 3 is mid-90s. I kind of knew I was going to love this movie. I don't know why it took me forever to watch it. Jonah Hill knocked it out of the park, really captured the 90s aspect. And, I used to be a skater in that time. Who wasn't a skater in that time period? But I used to be a skater. And so this movie kind of just really resonated with me. Solid performances by all these actors. It just felt like I wasn't watching a movie, which is great. It's one of those dirty movies. Well, I wouldn't call it a dirty movie, but it's one of those 90s movies. It's perfect. Great job by Jonah Hill directing for his first time. Like, really good. I will say the only gripe I had with it is just that I wish there was a little bit more substance to it. But I mean, I get why there isn't. It's kind of a straightforward film, plot-wise and everything else. But it was enough to snag my number 3. So number 2 and number 1 can honestly be switched. It doesn't really matter. They're both equally fantastic movies. But for my number 2 movie, I picked Hereditary. I don't want to go too much into this movie other than the fact that it's phenomenal as a horror film. It works on so many levels. No, it's not scary, but it's definitely unsettling and bizarre, and the acting is literally one of the best acting in horror movie, in drama in general. Toni Collette, I swear, got snubbed, but of course then we're going to give it to one of those horror movies. Ari Aster did a great job. I think it's his directorial debut of this movie. He really knew his vision and succeeded 100%. But yeah, if you're into horror at all and you haven't seen Hereditary, literally just watch it. Let me know what you think down below too if you have seen it. But fantastic movie. All right, guys, that brings me to my number 1 movie of 2018. And what is it? It's Lars von Trier's The House That Jack Built. I've been wanting to watch this forever. I don't know. I think it kept getting pushed back. I was looking at the dates to see when it was going to come to theater, and then I'm like, oh, dang, it's coming to Amazon. Like, you can buy it on Christmas Day. So, ironically, we watched it on Christmas Day, and wow, this movie was everything I wanted it to be. Matt Dillon, best movie he's done in God knows, maybe 10 years. I don't know. God knows how long. Probably ever. He just kills it. I don't even see Matt Dillon at all in it. He really immerses himself in the character, and it's such an interesting portrayal of a serial killer. Almost like an existential look at how a serial killer acts and kills, and I don't know, it was great. And another third act that really just goes in a different direction, and either you'll like it or you won't like it. I loved it. The cinematography in the third act is great. There's a lot of shots that are really, I don't know, I loved it. There is some stuff that Lars von Trier has almost like a pretentious vibe to it, but I honestly, when I heard about that before I watched it, I thought it was gonna be way worse, and it's not as bad, nearly as bad as people made it out to be. So yeah, I was able to look past that. But the performances were just great. The gore as a horror movie, it works. It's really gory. Everything's perfect. It's perfect in this movie. I should give it a 5. I really should. I think I rated it 4.5. But if you haven't watched it again and you like horror movies, or if you want to get into Von Trier movies, honestly, I think this is a really easy watch, considering like Melancholia is just so depressing. I love that movie, but it's so depressing. And maybe Nymphomaniac, but that's like super long. But this one I think a lot of people can watch and be okay with it. But yeah, that is The House That Jack Built, snagging my number 1 pick of 2018. Thanks guys for watching my 2018 picks. Yeah, again, I was a little underwhelmed this year, but there's a few movies that I really enjoyed. Let me know down below what movies you picked for your top 10 if you did, or if you saw any of the ones that I mentioned and what you feel about them. If you hate them, if you love them, just let me know. Give me some feedback. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching, and as always, I'll see you later.